bless you. Ooh, where are my manners? I am sorry. This is going to be a little response to Gaby Sandoval. So at least I should have introduced her. This is Gaby Sandoval.
Hi amigos and amigas and everything that is in between, it is me.
Yeah, Gaby Sandoval. I just said, hi there.
I haven't made a video recently at all. I've made videos here and there. The thing is, I sit down and I start editing them and I'm like, oh my god, I hate this, I am so annoying.
Well, far from me to say you're annoying or anything like that, but maybe you should think on how you edit your movies, because I'm not quite sure why we had to look at you moving weirdly in front of your camera. But that's, I don't know, artistic choices?
As you all know, a couple days ago was International Women's Day. There was this Snapchat filter that I'll put right here. If you don't like watching feminists rant about basic human rights, then you can close this video off and leave because I don't want your kind here.
Well, that wasn't very nice. To begin with, people who disagree with feminism aren't a specific kind. Though I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant. That's what you kind of implied. And whether you want our opinion or not means very little, to be honest. You won't hear my opinion, even though I'm going to make it. And you're probably not going to respond to it either. But yeah, that's unfortunate how it works. You're well able to throw whatever you want to throw into the echo chamber you want, and everything that doesn't fit that echo chamber you're well able to ignore. Yet I'm still going to respond. See how that goes.
And if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. It's right down here. But now that we're past the self-promo, let's go. I think it's an amazing day to educate those who aren't aware of the suppression that women face every day, and to educate those who think it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I would want to say I'm one of those people who doesn't believe it exists. But at the same time, I know I'm wrong because I do believe that women oppression does exist. Just not in what we call the Western world. But I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant, right? Or am I wrong?
White men have had privilege since day one. Let's be real.
Ooh, what privilege, pray tell. Oh, and don't forget that throughout history, most white men had no privilege whatsoever. I mean, yes, there were white men that were leaders of countries, but on average, there's only one, maybe a few per country. Most white men were serfs or slaves, because don't forget that throughout history, white people were used as slaves for a long time as well. Or they were just simple peasants. And men on average do the dying, which actually still is true, but throughout history was worse because any society would protect the women because the women are future, and to have a future, you need women. I could continue, by the way. You want me to continue?
Going way back, they've had privilege since day one, and don't even try to argue because it's literally history. So let's get a little bit of history up in this bitch so I can explain to you better.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. History. And in history, you will see that men do the dying, primarily. I mean, ever heard of this saying, women and children first? You never hear white men saying men first. And I'm not sure that other cultures are like white men in this way. Probably are, because women are the ones that need to survive for a culture to continue, as do the children. Hence the saying, women and children first. Um, so, are you full of shit, or do you just appear to be full of shit?
Women weren't even allowed to vote until August 18th, 1920. 1920. That was 96 years ago, I think. That's like as old as my grandma. My grandma's still alive. And it's just, I think it's so crazy. That was 96 years ago. That's not a long time ago, and women weren't allowed to vote until then.
You do realize that not all men had a right to vote, right? I know not all women had a right to vote, but then again, not all men had a right to vote. Oh, by the way, men did have a right to vote, but there were women that had a right to vote too. So, yeah, they're not all versions, I guess.
Women weren't allowed to work until wars arose.
Yeah, no, if you look throughout history, you will see that poor men and poor women had to work. It was only rich families where the women could stay home and not have to work. They were allowed to, but they didn't have to. With poor women, there was no choice in whether they could stay at home. I mean, they had to go to work. Only after a certain period in time, I think it was after the Second World War, when income for the working class got so high that um, men or women could earn enough for a family to live off, that one of the two stayed home. And on average, the woman would stay home. Not really forced, or at least not as far as I can tell.
And men weren't there, so women had to take over. But it really grosses me out how people were so sexist about everything. Women are doing their part. Instead of thanking them, they're just like, okay, we're gonna wait for the men to get back.
Yeah, that was really a sexist period of time in history. I mean, Rosie the Riveter, showing that women can do jobs as well, especially jobs that men can't do because they're at the front line in wars dying. Hmm, yeah, that's a very problematic position to be in. Now, don't get me wrong, I agree that women can do whatever a man can do on average. Not particularly, but on average, fair enough. And it's unfair that a lot of women that did the jobs during the Second World War stopped doing those jobs at the end of the Second World War, and they were sort of pushed out of certain positions. So yeah, that is unfair. At the other end, to say, look how great women were doing, they could do it, and they were doing it during the Second World War. I mean, you do realize they were doing it because the men were out dying, right? History. Lovely.
Even nowadays, there's women that aren't allowed to drive, aren't allowed to walk to work, aren't even allowed to go outside without being escorted by a man. That's in Saudi Arabia. And
I gotta give you credit here for being honest, because most feminists don't even bother saying it's in some Middle Eastern country. I am curious, however, what feminism is going to do to help these women.
I was learning about this the other day, how they're really happy because women can walk around without anything covering their faces and their body, and it's in danger of getting hurt for not wearing what they see as the law there. And of course, if it's your religion, that's okay. I respect that 100%, as long as you're happy and it's by your own free will. But then when it gets to a point where you can die for not wearing a certain article of clothing to cover a certain part of your body, I think that's when you need to draw the line. That's when it gets a little bit ridiculous, and that's too much. If you're afraid of your life continuing because you don't wear this article of cloth, then that's a huge issue, and people don't recognize that. They don't think it's a big deal because they think it's all centered around religion, and that others should be respectful of that, and I believe that 100%, but people also need to open their eyes and see that it is forced upon by women who do not want to wear those things, or do not want to be escorted by a man every single where they go, because that just makes them feel so weak and little and like they don't matter.
Can't you just say, this is oppression? People should not be forced to do this. If they want to do it, they can, but they should not be forced to do this. Stop saying you're okay with it, because then you're disingenuous. Either you're for it or you're against it. You can't try to take both positions, because there are no two positions to take in something that's head on with each other.
People turn a blind eye to all of this, and it drives me absolutely crazy because it is such a huge issue. And boys are raised with the idea that women are helpless and we need to be pitied and we need a man by our side at every single issue that we face. I can't even open a door if there's a man 3 feet behind or in front of me, and I can't open a door for a man because they'll stand back offended, staring at me like I just did something completely wrong.
Yeah, that's a nice bridge from women being forced to wear a hijab and a niqab and not allowed to drive a car and, well, generally being massively oppressed in Saudi Arabia, to you having a feeling that you cannot keep a door open for a man because he will be offended.
Of course, this isn't all men. I don't want you guys to watch this video, be like, wow, she's singling out all men. I'm not like that. I'm not saying all men. I'm just saying this has happened to me 9 times out of 10. They'll be offended if I open the door for them.
Well, I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10, either you know the worst men in the world, or you're not really telling the truth. Now, will there be men that don't like it if you open the door for them? Maybe. I can barely understand why they would be upset if you open the door for them. But okay, maybe there will be men going like, "Oh, hey, why are you opening the door for me? I ain't handicapped or none." I don't think that happens though. But you say it's true, so you must live in an area where men hate it when you open a door for them. Really. Oof.
I love that there's an International Women's Day. I really do. It makes me so happy to teach women empowerment and teach them that they can say what they need to say and do what they need to do, and no one's going to stand in their way if they're really have their mind set to it.
Oh, I guess I'm glad you love it. Don't forget to thank Russia for it then.
International Women's Day isn't taken seriously, and there's no education on it, and that's what makes me upset. I love the day in itself, but how it's treated makes me upset. I just wish we didn't have to recognize women due to them being as oppressed as they are. I wish we were equals and didn't have to show any speciality towards it, because that's what's happening. Usually when days are used to recognize something, it's because it's under-recognized and they need a special day to flash a light on it.
You do know there's an International Man Day as well, right? I mean, it doesn't get as much attention, but it does exist. And of course, there's Mother's Day and Father's Day, the 4th of July, which is also a day. Again, it's just Valentine's Day. No, I should stop.
In my opinion, women are beautiful people and should be treated no differently than anybody else, and should be appreciated every single day, not just on one specific day to recognize them. Just like men are beautiful people and should be appreciated every single day too. And you don't see a National Men's Day. Do you see an International Men's Day? No. Because we don't need an International Men's Day, because men are already recognized as high up in this society and in this culture and everything, and it's just...
Yeah, you're wrong. There is an International Men's Day. And not a lot of people know about this, and that's because in the Western world it's not really being carried that much. It's more something you'll see in Latin American countries. And so, by your comparison, that would mean that men then are oppressed as well. But no, let's not say that. Let's not go that way. But let's at least say that, yeah, you know what? Men need recognition too. If you want to give recognition to women for no reason other than that they are women, then men should get recognition for no other reason than that they are men. That you don't know about it kind of shows that there's very little education on your part then. Even less so than the education on Women's Day, it seems. But yeah, no, there is an International Men's Day. Really, look it up.
As long as you're nice to people, honestly, and as long as you're not causing harm to anybody, it shouldn't matter if you're male or female or anything else that's in between, or if you're black or if you're white or any other color or shade there is. It shouldn't matter. As long as you're nice to other people, that's it. The other day I asked my coworker to take out the trash for me because it was too dark for me to go outside to the dumpster myself. And he asked me why, and I told him that I had to beware of potential sexual assault if I was going out there. I mean, it's a dumpster, it's a closed off area, it's dark at night, you don't know what could happen. And he laughed, not in a rude way, but because he thought I was joking about it. He didn't think I had to have a legitimate fear about something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on this one. People should be respectful of each other, whether they're men or women. Though I have no idea what's in between men and women. And yeah, you can say black, white, whatever. Personally, um, that's obvious. That's a given. I don't really care about race. So whether you're black or white or yellow or purple, well, there are no purple races, but I don't care. People should be nice to each other. And then you come with the example on how you ask a co-worker to bring the garbage out because it's dark and you're afraid of getting raped. And your colleague then laughs and thinks you're having him on. The fact that he thinks you're having him on should probably also say something. It should probably make you aware of the fact that you're being afraid of something that can be seen as irrational. But that's not how you see it, right?
When I explained to him that it was a legitimate fear and it wasn't only me, but it was every other girl that I know of that has that fear, he got really serious and he couldn't believe that this was a legitimate fear that people had to have.
Yeah, it's not a legitimate fear. It's really not a legitimate fear. But yeah, feminists have been pushing, not just feminists, social justice warriors, whatever you want to call them, idiots I call them, have been pushing the 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 number since, what, the 1970s? And it's all based on faux research, and it has been debunked so many times, and yet still it's being pushed as if it's true. If this were true, this would mean that America has more rapes than, for example, Nigeria or the Congo. They do not. They really do not. So please listen to your coworker. You know what? Listen to people around you. How often do you hear of people that have been raped that actually were raped? And don't listen to the huge stories like the Duke lacrosse team and shit like that, because that has been debunked as well. I mean, the whole problem with feminism is that they're talking about how everything is rape, that it unfortunately creates a situation where people don't take rape serious anymore. So yeah, your colleague is like, okay, I'll throw away the trash, but yeah, there's your respect gone.
They have to constantly think about the potential threat of sexual assault or anything else happening from us seeming weak and under men.
Yeah, no, you don't have to be in fear. You have to be careful, but you don't have to be in fear. The 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 number is closer to 1 in 100 number. Actually, maybe even closer to 1 in 1,000. I'm not really going to do the math now, but it's less than a percent. And don't get me wrong, every rape is one too many, but on average, rape isn't that big a deal in America. It's a big deal for those who are victim, but let's not try to make it something it is not. Then again, feminists are great at redefining rape, so maybe you're right. Maybe when you throw away the trash, a guy walks around and he looks at you in a funny way, and that constitutes rape too. I don't know.
And he started asking me if I carry weapons on me at all times or something, to where if that situation were to occur, I could defend myself. And I told him no, because if I got caught with that, I would be seen as an over exaggerator and someone who just took things too far, and I would be the one who would get in trouble for something involving that.
Now, I do think people shouldn't carry weapons. Governments should protect us from each other. But I don't think anyone will look at you strangely if you carry a legal firearm because you are willing to defend yourself. Now, that you're defending yourself against windmills, fair enough. But I don't think people will think it weird that you want to defend yourself.
So, reasons like that are why we honestly need to educate, why we need to take advantage of the day that there is an International Women's Day and speak to kids about it or speak to people about it, because I shouldn't be taught that I need to defend myself, and I shouldn't be taught to hold my keys between my fingers when I go to my car, or not to go to my car in a parking garage alone at night.
Now, I do think that people need to educate themselves because people shouldn't be taught that there's a 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 chance that women will get raped. Though I'm not quite sure why you shouldn't be taught to defend yourself, why that is a negative thing. Because I personally would think that being able to defend yourself is a good thing. I mean, why wouldn't you need to be able to defend yourself. Now, I hope it will never be necessary that you need to defend yourself, but everyone should know how to defend themselves because the off chance that you might need it. Now, you can say I shouldn't have to teach how to defend myself because I should never be in such situation. But I mean, even if you believe in the 1 in 4 rape bullshit number, then that alone would be reason for you wanting to defend yourself, should it not? And I don't believe in that 1 in 4. I think it's, as I said, one in less than a percent. And yet, still, I think, even on the off chance something happens to you, it's always good to know how to defend yourself. So, why should you not need to defend yourself? Can you explain that? I mean, do other people have to defend you because you're a strong and independent woman, but not that strong?
It should be other people who are taught that sexual assault is not in any way a thing that they should even begin to consider doing. I mean, it's sad that you have to teach people that, but it's a thing that has to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. The stupidity is overwhelming. I'm lost for words. We should teach people not to rape. I guess we're going to do that as soon as we've taught people not to kill, right? Because killing is probably worse than rape, or isn't it? Or maybe we should start with something easier. We should teach people not to rob or steal because yeah, teaching them, that's the way to do it. No, criminals are criminals. They know damn well they shouldn't do it, yet they do it anyway. What the fuck? You really think teaching is a solution?
So, to kind of wrap up this video, I am definitely a feminist. I don't believe women are greater than men. I don't believe that men need to be punished. I don't hate all men. I hate the inequality. And I'm a feminist because men and women are on the same page, in the same book, in the same library, and it's time that we just saw it as that we're all the same. It doesn't matter what we have or who we are or what we identify as or what we look at. We don't need to have oppression in anything.
You know, I want to believe you. I want to believe that you feel that men and women should be equal and that people should be treated equal. I really do. But you then saying you want this because you're a feminist kind of makes me feel you do not. Because don't forget that it's feminism that stops equality. It's feminism that tries to prevent abused shelters for male victims of domestic abuse. It's feminism that seems to scare you of how big a chance there is of you to get raped. It's feminism that claims that 1 in 9 women, is a victim of home domestic violence. Feminism keeps pushing the narrative of women as a victim. It's not true. It's been disproven many a time, but they keep doing it. Feminism talks about the wage pay gap as if it's a fact, when in actual fact, women under 30 out earn their male counterparts. And in actual fact, women stopping to work for a period of time to raise the children is why women over a lifetime earn less than a man. And in actual fact, men work more hours than women on average. But those facts don't count. So tell me, how are you for equality of men and women, yet ignore just about all the things men have to deal with? And I'm not really saying you're doing that, but you're picking up points that are demonstrably untrue. Maybe you should stop doing that. Maybe you should really look into things. Maybe you should be honest and say, you know what? Shit happens to men and that's bad too. I hope you will. I don't know. I find it difficult to keep making movies debunking or disproving the untruth feminists keep pushing out on the world. I don't know. I mean, this girl, this woman, she seems friendly. She seems nice. I mean, yeah, sure. There's no reason why she can't be. Yet this woman claims that women have it so bad and men have it so good, when there is nothing out in the real world that supports her point. I mean, the only point she actually had of female oppression was Saudi Arabia. Now, trust me, I'm 100% on it. I totally agree with her on that. I don't know what we can do to change it, but I totally agree with her. I don't see what feminism does to change it, but somehow feminism is fighting for equal rights for men and women, even though women have more rights, way more rights than men. But yeah, let's not bother this religion with facts, shall we? Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. My ending isn't my usual fluffy self, I guess. I will try to do better next time. Please feel free to leave remarks or comments or tell me why I'm wrong. I'm always interested to hear new tidbits. Have a good one.